The morning began like any other, quiet, simple, and peaceful. I brewed my tea, opened the windows of the house I had lived in for 42 years, and sat on the front porch watching the sun rise behind the mango trees. This house wasn't just concrete and bricks. It was memory, sacrifice, laughter, and heartbreak all woven into one structure. My late husband and I had built it slowly, saving a little each month, painting the walls ourselves, planting the garden with our own hands. To everyone else, it was a modest home. To me, it was everything. But that peace shattered the moment my son, Adil, arrived. He didn't knock. He barged inside with the entitlement of someone who had never lifted a single brick of this house, followed closely by his wife, Samreen, who carried an expression I had grown accustomed to, calculating, cold, and slightly victorious. "Amy," Adil said, clearing his throat as if preparing for some grand announcement, "we need to talk. It's important." He used that tone, the one he only used when he wanted something. I placed my teacup down. "What is it?" He exchanged a glance with Samreen, who gave him a subtle nod. Then he said it. "From now on, this house belongs to Samreen. We've decided. You should prepare the papers." For a moment, I wondered if I had heard him wrong. I blinked. "What do you mean this house belongs to her?" "It makes sense, Amy," he continued, speaking fast as though rushing past my shock. "She's my wife. She needs security, and the house should stay within the family. We'll live here after some renovations." Samreen crossed her arms. "It's better if the younger generation takes responsibility now. You can stay in one room, of course, for now." For now. Those two words stabbed deeper than the demand itself. I stared at my son, the same son whose bruised knees I had bandaged countless times, the one whose fever I had sat beside all night, whispering prayers, the boy who used to cling to my dupatta and say, "Amy, don't ever leave me." And now he stood in my doorway, claiming my home for his wife as if I were nothing more than an obstacle. "I haven't agreed to anything," I said slowly. Adil exhaled impatiently. "Amy, don't make this difficult. We've talked about it. It's for the best. Just sign the house over." "No," I said firmly. "This house is mine, your father and I." He cut me off. "Stop bringing Abu into everything. Things are different now. You're alone. You don't need such a big house." Samreen gave a small, triumphant smirk. Adil added, "We already spoke to a lawyer. He said you can transfer the house easily. You'll just make it official." "You already spoke to a lawyer?" I asked, my voice shaking. "Of course," Samreen chimed in. "We like to plan ahead." Plan ahead. They had made decisions without even asking me. Adil's voice softened slightly, fake softness, the kind he used when he wanted to manipulate me. "Amy, don't worry. We'll take good care of you." "Good care," I laughed bitterly, "like you're doing now." His face hardened. "If you don't transfer it, we'll have to think of other ways. Don't push us." "Push you." I stared at him, and for the first time I didn't see my son. I saw a stranger wearing his face. The days that followed. For the next week, Adil and Samreen visited repeatedly. Each time they pressured me. Each time they spoke to me like I owed them something. As if raising them, feeding them, sacrificing my own comfort for their future wasn't already enough. Then one afternoon, Adil came alone. He sat across from me, arms crossed. "Amy, you're dragging this out. Just sign the house over. Why are you being stubborn?" "I'm not being stubborn," I replied calmly. "I am protecting what is mine." He shook his head. "Samreen and I already made plans. She wants to redo the kitchen and change the flooring. She's already found contractors." "She's planning renovations for a house she doesn't own," I asked. He didn't answer. Instead, he said something that revealed everything. "Her family thinks it's strange that the house isn't in the wife's name. Do you want them thinking I'm a failure?" Ah, there it was. It wasn't about love. It wasn't about security. It was about ego. I realized then that my son wasn't concerned about me at all. He was concerned about appearances. That night I prayed long and hard, not for my home but for clarity, for strength, for guidance. And strength came in a form I had never expected. The lawyer's revelation. 2 days later, I visited an old friend of my husband, Mr. Dodd, a retired lawyer. He had been there when we first registered this property. When I told him everything, he sighed deeply. "You're a kind woman, but kindness should not make you blind," he said. He looked through old documents, then new ones I had brought. After half an hour, he leaned back in his chair. "Sister, listen carefully. The house is entirely in your name. No one, not even your son, can force you to give it up. And even if you did transfer ownership once it is in their name, you lose all legal rights. They can evict you." My throat tightened. Evict me from my own home. My heart twisted with pain, not because of the legal risk, but because my son had knowingly pushed me toward it. He had used pressure, guilt, manipulation, without caring what would happen to me. Dod Sahib continued, "You have two choices. Resist them openly or protect yourself quietly." I chose the second. I asked him a question. "Can I sell the house without informing anyone?" He looked at me, eyes widening slightly, then nodded. "As long as it's in your name, you can. And if you want, I can help ensure the process is smooth." A strange calmness washed over me. For the first time in years, I felt in control. The sale. Within 3 weeks, the house was sold. Not to a stranger, but to a kind couple, retired teachers, who had dreamed of moving to this quiet neighborhood. They promised they would take care of the garden I loved so much. We agreed on a good price. With the money, I bought a small, comfortable apartment near my childhood friend, Farzana, who had begged me for years to move closer. The same day the sale was finalized, I packed my essentials. The rest I donated. I didn't tell Adil anything. Not yet. I wanted to see his face when he discovered the truth. The day he found out. Adil arrived early in the morning, dragging Samreen behind him. They walked in like they owned the place, confident, smug, ready to claim their territory. "Amy," he called out, not even removing his shoes, "we brought the contractor today. He'll take measurements for the renovation." His voice stopped abruptly, because the living room was empty. The furniture was gone. The paintings were gone. The house echoed with emptiness. He spun around. "Amy, Amy." I stepped out of the kitchen doorway, holding a single bag. Adil frowned. "What's happening? Where's everything?" Samreen looked around in alarm. "Why is the house empty?" I exhaled softly. "Because it's no longer my house." Adil blinked. What do you mean?" "I sold it." He stared at me, uncomprehending. "Sold what?" "The furniture." "No," I said, "the house." His face drained of color, pure white like chalk. "What are you talking about?" he whispered. "I sold the house," I repeated, my voice steady. "It no longer belongs to me, or you, or your wife." Samreen gasped. "You sold it without telling us." "You wanted it in your name," I said calmly. "But since none of you asked what I wanted, I made a decision of my own." Adil stepped closer, anger rising. "Amy, are you out of your mind? You had no right." "I had every right," I interrupted. "This house was mine. You tried to pressure me, manipulate me, even threaten me. You forgot that I am not helpless." His jaw clenched. "Who did you sell it to? What price? Where is the money?" "The money," I said slowly, "is mine, just like the house was mine." Samreen's voice cracked. "But where will we live?" I raised an eyebrow. "In your own house, the one you and your family value so much." Adil swallowed hard. You betrayed us, Amy." I looked at him, sadness washing over me, not regret, but grief for the man my son had become. "No," I whispered. "I protected myself, something you should have done for me." He stood there breathing hard, his face pale, stunned, defeated. When he finally spoke, his voice was small, like that little boy he once was. Amy, please don't go. My heart twisted. I gave you years to treat me with respect, I said softly. You chose not to. I picked up my bag and walked toward the door. Behind me, I heard Samreen whisper urgently, "This is all your fault. I told you to get the house signed earlier." Adil didn't respond. For once, he had nothing left to say. A new beginning. My new apartment is small but warm, peaceful, filled with sunlight and laughter from the neighbors' children. I drink tea with Farzana every evening and plant flowers in little pots by the balcony. Sometimes I think of the old house, but I don't regret my decision. I gave my son love. I gave him devotion. I gave him a lifetime of care. But I will not give him the right to disrespect me. He calls sometimes. I don't always pick up. I am not cruel. But I have learned something important. A mother's heart should be soft, but a mother's boundaries should be unbreakable. And for the first time in my life, I chose myself.